Well, after a week of that record-shattering cold that plunged so much of the U.S. into a deep freeze, the weather map is, well, it's basically flipping upside down. So today, we're going to track this massive nationwide thaw, and we're going to unpack the trio of new weather threats it's unleashing for the week ahead.
Yeah, to really get a handle on where we're going, you have to remember where we've just been. This number, -40 degrees Fahrenheit, that wasn't just some abstract temperature on a map. No, that was the life-threatening wind chill that gripped over 200 million Americans. This was all thanks to that powerful polar vortex. You know, that swirl of Arctic air that's supposed to stay way up over the pole, but instead it dipped unusually far south, creating a truly dangerous and frankly historic cold snap.
But now, the pattern is doing a complete 180. A huge dome of high pressure is building over the central U.S. The best way to think about it is like a giant atmospheric lid, pressing down, stopping clouds from forming, and just letting that sunshine warm up the ground. And that is what's kicking off the great thaw. But, and this is a big but, this isn't some simple return to calm weather. Oh no, we are trading one set of extremes for a brand new, very complex forecast.
So here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll dive into this incredible temperature divide that's literally splitting the nation in two. Then, we are going to pinpoint 3 distinct weather threats that are brewing on the horizon. I'll walk you through a day-by-day planner for the week, and we'll wrap it up with the most important part, how you can stay safe and prepared for what's coming.
First up, a nation's temperature divide. The big story from Monday, February 9th isn't some huge storm. Nope, it's this incredible atmospheric contrast. We've basically got a battle of air masses playing out, and it's creating 2 completely different weather realities across the country at the exact same time.
And right here, you can see that divide in really stark detail. I mean, look at this. Over in the west and central U.S., that high pressure is calling all the shots, leading to what we're calling the Great Thaw. Denver is pushing 60 degrees. And Chicago, a city that was just a block of ice, is now seeing highs maybe up to 50. That is a massive jump, like 15 to 30 degrees above normal. But then you look to the east, and that Arctic air is retreating much more slowly. In Boston and Milwaukee, that lingering chill is the real deal, with temperatures struggling just to get above freezing. And this temperature difference, this gradient, that is the engine for the weather we're going to see later this week.
This table really gives us a snapshot of that atmospheric tug-of-war. Just look at the extremes here. It's wild. You've got Los Angeles basking in 81-degree warmth, while at that very same moment, Chicago is still dealing with wind chills right around 0. You can see that warming trend pushing into Dallas with a really pleasant 65, while New York is still locked in that lingering chill. It's truly a nation divided by its weather.
Okay, so that's the setup. Now let's look at what this whole pattern is going to turn out as we head into the middle of the week, because there are 3 very distinct weather threats developing that you absolutely need to be aware of.
All right, threat number 1 is heavy mountain snow. As all this moisture from the Pacific Ocean just slams into that cold air that's still hanging around over the west, we're going to see some significant snowfall in the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies. We're talking 1 to 2 feet in parts of the Cascades, and here's the key alert for anyone who might be traveling in that region. The snow levels are expected to drop to around 3,000 feet. That's going to make for some hazardous, if not totally impossible conditions in those mountain passes.
Okay, next up, threat number 2 is aimed right at California. A classic atmospheric river is set to arrive from Tuesday night into Wednesday. Just picture a fire hose of tropical moisture up in the sky aimed directly at the coast. The forecast is calling for about 1 to 2 inches of rain, but some of those isolated areas could see closer to 3 inches. Now, the real danger here, as the alert notes, is the higher risk of rapid runoff and flash flooding. This is especially true near those recent wildfire burn scars where the soil just can't absorb that much water that quickly.
And finally, threat number 3. So while the central U.S. is thawing out, don't think the cold is done with the east. Not even close. We're tracking these reinforcing surges of frigid high pressure moving down from Canada. And what that means is that dangerously cold conditions are going to continue, and we could even see some record low temperatures. Let's be really clear here. This is not just uncomfortable weather. It is a serious life safety hazard. It's the kind of cold that requires you to take precautions for people, for your pets, and for your pipes.
Okay, so with those 3 big threats in mind, let's zoom out and put it all together. Here is a look at your weekly weather planner to see how this entire pattern is expected to unfold right across the nation.
So, in the early part of the week, that widespread warming trend is going to keep on going under mostly dry conditions. But by midweek, things get a little more active in the northern part of the country. A fast-moving Alberta Clipper system, which is just a type of low-pressure system that sweeps down from Canada, is going to bring a quick shot of light snow, maybe 1 to 3 inches, along with some gusty winds to the Great Lakes in the northeast. Then as we head into the weekend, temperatures all across the country finally start to trend back toward normal seasonal averages.
All right, we've seen the forecast. Now let's talk about what it actually means for you. This is our final and honestly most important section, staying safe and prepared with the key takeaways for the week.
This is really what you need to know. For everyone in the Northeast and Upper Midwest, dangerous overnight wind chills down to -20 are still possible, so limiting your time outdoors is absolutely critical. For all you drivers across the Midwest, the thaw creates a brand new hazard, black ice from melting and refreezing snow. Be careful. Out west in the Pacific Northwest, you have to prepare for hazardous mountain travel. And for residents in California, please stay vigilant about those flash flood risks, especially near burn scars. But really, the single most important takeaways for every single person, no matter where you are, is this: monitor your local National Weather Service office for the latest, most specific warnings for your area.
So, there you have it. We've gone from a historic deep freeze to a massive thaw, and now we're tracking snow, rain, and some seriously lingering cold. The key takeaway is that our weather is in a state of rapid change. So we'll leave you with this question. Whether it's a warm-up, heavy snow, or incoming rain, the atmosphere is shifting gears in your region. The real question is, are you ready for what's next?